Poll 80 ToA changes and DMM tweaks, 30th of August, 2023. This week's game update sees some initial tweaks to Deadman Apocalypse, alongside the long-awaited Tombs of a Mascot and Poll 80 updates. Bug fixes. We have deployed a change on the Sigil of the Ninja. The effect for reducing the attack speed from 5 to 4 cycles when using magic now only applies to spells that are autocast. Manually selected spells will not be affected by the Sigil of the Ninja. We've been made aware that the explosions within the Path of Atmekan can cause damage to your pets. Please avoid taking pets into this room as we investigate the issue. To resolve an issue in Deadman Apocalypse where players were using the Ring of Life effect to teleport away from situations they wouldn't otherwise be able to, we've disabled the Ring of Life effect in Deadman mode only. The Mark of Darkness spell now correctly checks for a player having the correct runes and magic level. We're aware of a game crash issue arising from selecting a task while the Like a Boss Slayer perk and Sigil of Slaughter are both active together in Deadman Apocalypse. As we investigate, we recommend disabling the Like a Boss perk when selecting tasks, as this will cause a crash to your client. We'll update you when we have a fix ready. Deadman Apocalypse tweaks. Since Deadman Apocalypse launched last Friday, thousands of you have hit the breaches and engaged in all-out PvP carnage. While you've been busy murdering each other, we've been closely monitoring your feedback. Since there's a large cash prize attached to this game mode, we're somewhat constrained in the changes we can make, but we're committed to addressing critical issues as they appear. Today's patch brings 2 notable fixes. Edgeville Emblem Trader. Those of you wondering where your old friend the Emblem Trader has got to will be pleased to see him back in his usual spot north of Edgeville. His strikingly similar friend can also be found hanging out at the Grand Exchange. On Deadman Worlds, the Grand Exchange Emblem Trader does not let you acquire a skull. However, the Emblem Trader north of Edgeville and his colleague at the Revenant Caves will. Prices in Deadman Apocalypse and permanent Deadman shops. Last week, some of you raised that the Emblem Trader shop had the point cost for items increased on the permanent Deadman world. Oops! In this week's game update, we had a word with the Emblem Trader and the prices are back to normal. And there's a table with the... There is a table with the point costs of each of the various items that I'm scrolling through now. Feel free to pause if there's any items on here that you would like to see the prices of now. Note that this doesn't affect the Bounty Hunter Emblem Trader on regular worlds or the Bounty Hunter world. Additional hotfixes. The Scythe of Viter will now correctly add charges even when already partly charged. Players will no longer receive Tier 1 sigils when they shouldn't. Increase the PJ timer in single-way combat areas from 12 seconds, 20 cycles, to 14.4 seconds, 24 cycles. As the game mode progresses, we are also removing the following worlds from Deadman Apocalypse. 3 to 50 bracket, US East, 472, 473, 574. US West, 442, 538, 541. UK, 508. EU, 462, 550, 551. 51 to 70 bracket, US East, 404. US West, 439. EU, 460. Tombs of the Mascot, the Path of Atmekan. We received a lot of feedback regarding the Path of Atmekan, particularly, you felt that the monkey business took a bit too long compared to other paths. In response, we've allowed players to clear the waves faster without making the room too difficult for less experienced players. To achieve this, we've increased both the minimum and maximum foe counts for most waves, which ultimately means that players will have to clear fewer enemies before the next wave begins. To prevent less experienced players being overwhelmed by the simian hordes, players can now use volatile baboons to clear out other enemies with a well-timed area of effect explosion. In addition, shamans will no longer spawn thralls if they are poisoned or envenomed, giving everyone a bit of a break. Lobby Deposit Box. We've added a deposit box next to the Helpful Spirit, which functions as a regular deposit box. Just shove your unused supplies in there, and they'll go straight to the bank. You may also deposit and retrieve your pickaxe in the lobby, so you don't have to enter the raid to retrieve it. There's a cavity in the wall that's just right for the job. Akka. Previously, during Akka's Enrage phase, he'd teleport to a new location after a fixed number of hits, even if they missed. This resulted in a bit too much teleporting for our liking, so we've made it so that Akka will now only teleport after a certain number of successful hits. This guarantees that you'll get in at least a little bit of damage before he teleports away. Additionally, hits from thralls no longer contribute to Akka's teleport counter. Accessibility. Last but not least, you asked us to improve the clarity of select invocations. We've updated their mouse over information accordingly, and it should now be clearer what effect they'll have on the raid. Other Pole 80 changes. Pyramid Plunder. First up, we have some adjustments to the drop rate of the Pharaoh's Scepter. Previously, the mummy's maths were a little off, and the drop rate for the scepter actually decreased as you progress further into the pyramid. As of today's update, your chances will now improve past room 5 instead. As part of this change, we've also made it so that chests and sarcophagi will roll for the scepter, even if you fail. Have fun treasure hunting. The rates are as follows for both chests and sarcophagi. Room 1, 1 in 4200. Room 2, 1 in 2800. Room 3, 1 in 1600. Room 4, 1 in 950. Room 5, 1 in 800. Room 6, 1 in 750. Room 7, 1 in 650. Room 8, 1 in 650. Arceus PvP spells. We have reworked Mark of Darkness. Instead of being a debuff you cast on your target, it will now be a buff that you cast on yourself. While you have the buff, certain spells will be empowered, just as they previously were when targeting someone with the Mark of Darkness debuff. In case you've forgotten, the bind chance of grasp spells is doubled, though the bind duration remains the same. If your target is a player, corruption will occur twice as often. If your target is a demon, Demon Bane spells will have an additional 25% damage and 20% accuracy bonus. The damage bonus is applied after any bonus damage from gear. While Greater Corruption has a magic requirement that's 20 levels higher than Lesser Corruption, the only functional difference was the chance to apply Corruption. We've doubled the prayer point drain inflicted by Greater Corruption to make it feel, well, greater. In addition, both Lesser and Greater Corruption now have 50% accuracy. Additional changes. We also have a host of smaller Pole 80 changes coming in this week's update. Lava Dragons can now drop ensouled heads in addition to other loot. Webweaver Bow now consumes 1 charge when using the special attack instead of 4. It is now possible to take multiple God Capes at the same time. Enabled multi-cannons in PvP worlds wherever looting bags cannot be used. Implemented a system for loot key broadcasts in clan chat, with options in the clan settings menu. Increased Wilderness Achievement Diary rune rewards for all tiers. Disabled random events within the Wilderness boss layers. Players will now receive a message 10 ticks before Mark of Darkness expires. A message will now appear in the chat box to indicate that players have been bound. Players will also receive a message when they unfreeze. Removed Dragon Scale Dust from the Nightmare Zone reward shop. Other changes. Players will now receive the intended 15% accuracy bonus from Bounty Hunter's Ancient Kit when special attacks are performed during the minigame. When treasure is won from a player-owned house's dungeon treasure chest, the notification message now says who won it and how much money they received. The Love Crossbow can no longer be fired in PvP areas. Samaron's Scepter and the Accursed Scepter will now correctly show 0 splashes if the wielder's magic has been drained. Upon trying to enter the mage training area, free-to-play players will now be informed that they require membership. All Slayer Helm variants are now correctly shown as lost in the Kept on Death interface. PvP World Rota. The PvP Rota has moved to Period A, 539 US, PvP World, 318 UK, Bounty Hunter World, 548 Germany, High Risk PvP World, 577 US, Free-to-Play PvP World, 559 UK, LMS Competitive. World 390 Australia for LMS Competitive has been activated with this rota. World 569 Australia for Bounty Hunter has been activated with this rota. The PvP arena is using max med loadouts in ranked duels and tournaments this week. You can also discuss this update on our official forums, on the 2007scape subreddit, the Steam forums, or the community-led OSRS Discord in the Game Update channel. For more info on the above content, check out the official Old School Wiki. The Old School team. And there you have it. That is the entire Pole 80 ToA changes and DMM tweaks blog post from the 30th of August 2023. In this video, I added background music. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. If you didn't like it, also please let me know. I'm also not going to be providing an opinion at the end of this, and instead, I'm just keeping it short and sweet to the content of the blog post. Please let me know if you prefer this format or if you'd rather hear my opinion at the end. Thanks. And make sure to subscribe to hear future blog posts. See you next time.